Hey yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
Welcome to a new and very special episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast. I am your host, the Ayatollah of Hip Hop, the whole damn show, the rated R podcaster, a visionary, a revolutionary, and the voice of the voiceless. With my co host this evening,
Hey, yo, it's me. I'm not the voice of the voiceless because you're there, but I'm still loud. I'm still a loud voice though, right? I'm still a loud motherfucker. But yeah, it's me. It's Milenko. What's up?
and we have a very special guest this evening. Our special guest this evening, he is 1/3 of the Abyss podcast, the backbone to the three-headed monster, with his new album out, What Do Sound Smell Like, completely produced by Uncle Fester. Hopefully, one day he could be the new coach of the Chicago Bears.
I
He's an
hope so.
MC's MC. You can learn a thing or two from the gems he drops. The punk rock of hip hop, Primo Jab.
Peace. What's happening, fellows?
What's
Thanks for
happening?
having me here. I feel like I'm sitting in the same seat as legends before me, man. Here I am on the all-time podcast. The killer crossover continues, man. I'm so excited about that, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You complete the trilogy.
Yep.
Woo!
Uh,
Here we go.
and I wanted to be special when you came on because what you guys do with the Abyss podcast, I've said it many times on the podcast. You guys have really put out a lane for artists. And I know the work that goes into it. And a lot of these artists get a light shined on them, right? All these MCs. And a lot of people know you from the Abyss podcast, but I want people to know you as the MC Primo Jab and what you've contributed to hip hop because you've been doing this for a very long time.
Mhm.
2012 albums have been coming out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, 2012. 2012 was the official professional reintroduction or the professional introduction. Absolutely, 2012.
So you've been doing this for a long time. So I want the light shined on you as the MC that you are because I'm a fan of what you do. I'm invested in the music you do. And again, like I've mentioned, you're an MC's MC. So I really want to focus on who you are and what you've contributed as an artist.
Man, first off, I want to thank you, and I appreciate the support that you've given, man. Contributing, copying the albums, absolutely reaching out and being like, "Oh yeah, this is dope. I'm listening to it." That's what we doing it for. That's what I'm doing it for, man. Like you said, man, I do kind of pride myself on being an MC's MC, somebody who's really down with the culture, who, I've invested my life into this,
Mhm.
and I really, feel invested in the culture in general. You know what I mean? So. I just want to, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm contributing something that's dope that the people can appreciate, years down the line when they look at my catalog, they can be like, "Oh yeah, that dude, oh man," they picking up random little gems here and there like, "Oh man, this dude he was really talking some crazy shit." It's like, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
well, that's why I called you the punk rock of hip hop,
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take
right?
it. The punk rock and hip hop.
So the reintroduction in 2012, you've really grown with the sounds, right? Like
Thank you.
2012, man, that was like, Rock Marciano only came out a couple of years before that, right? So hip hop has grown with sounds. And I think it was a very crucial year from, I would say, 2011 till maybe about the last couple of years where hip hop really changed its sound, but
Yeah.
you changed your sound, right? Like
Mhm.
if you look at the album from 2012 till what you just put out,
hmm
like you've grown with the sounds, man. So how did you really have to take on different styles, different sounds, different lyrics, different, the way you presented yourself as well, right? Because that's all changed. You've grown.
Yeah, well, that's the key, man. It's all about growth, man. Continuous growth, trying to continue to strive to make something that's doper than what you made previously, always competing with yourself. I and competing with others, man. I'm not one of those people like you hear a lot of MCs will say that, they don't want to listen to their peers or what else is going on out here, so they're not like being polluted by it or whatever. And I get that. I understand that and I appreciate that train of thought also. But again, like I said, I mean, I'm in love with hip hop, man.
Hmm.
Unapologetically, I'm a hip hop head. And I've been inspired by so many dope MCs before me, so many dope songs that have been the soundtrack of my life that it's something that drives me each time to, kind of incorporate the new vibes that I'm feeling or that I've absorbed kind of into whatever I'm creating, man. Because, again, it's a reflection. Obviously, it's art. I'm trying to be artistic. I really don't want to be one of those people that uh as a stereotypical rapper sound, right? Because that's
Hmm.
the one thing when you've been rapping like as long as I have, you don't want it like there's all these people out here. You hear a lot of the talk of, oh, you're still rap or you're still doing this, and people like kind of downgrade it and dismiss it and all that type of stuff. And I am not a believer of that. I don't think being a part of hip hop plays out. I don't think being an MC plays out, man. I think it's
Hmm.
it's again, it's like being a samurai or something, man. You can continue to grow and walk the path and focus your martial art of being an MC. As long as you care, you're gonna continue to get better. So that's my ultimate goal. Is like, I don't think I've reached my final, Super Saiyan 12 form yet, man. I'm still trying to get there, man.
Yeah, but it's a good thing. You need to grow with the times as well,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? Like if you look at a bunch of artists that were putting out music at the same time as you back then, they had to have grown with the
Yeah.
sound, or else they wouldn't be relevant, or nobody would be interested in their music, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of have no choice. But also, I think you being a huge fan of hip hop, and
Yeah.
you you get bits and parts from everywhere, so you
Yeah.
apply all of it to what your music is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, without a doubt. I'm not afraid of listening to things from different places, man. Because again, I was living in Atlanta heavily. But 2012, I was in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and that is reflected in that sound of what I was making. As a matter of fact, me living in Atlanta is probably reflected in the first four albums. Let's say
Hmm.
the Jabology one,
Yeah,
two,
Jabology for sure. Yeah.
uh, you know, uh, Dear 85 or Die,
Hmm.
Jabnetics, all four of those are like that's a real kind of journey through like me and Bless, God Bless Beach, just really being in the thick of Atlanta, like just being out there scraping and scratching and hanging out, like really running around Atlanta, hanging out all night long, going to the strip clubs, going to the club, being everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on a lot of music videos right back then. So I was like really in tune with like the Atlanta music culture that was going on. Like the people that were coming up, T.I. and any of those type of dudes that you could think of, but specifically like T.I. Gucci Man, like, I
Yeah.
was right there with them when all that type of stuff was happening. So, um, yeah, man, it was just kind of being a fly on the wall to that and talking about kind of my tale adjacent to being just an Atlanta guy, an Atlanta transplant. A lot of people were moving to Atlanta around that time too, so that's kind of it was a very cosmopolitan place. You got people from Cali was heavy out there,
Hmm.
Philly, New York, Detroit, um, L.A. and Oakland. Cali. I mean, yeah, it was wild time. Chicago, obviously, we were deep down there. Yeah, it was just that was what it was about, man. Being cosmopolitan with the sound, man, but not compromising the core essence of trying to be on some dope hip hop shit, man. Because
Yeah.
that's
Back
that's
then,
that's me.
that sound, that Atlanta sound, just infected everyone, right? It
Yeah,
was everywhere. There was really an era when everyone was trying to do the Atlanta sound.
yeah.
I mean, it was a great moment at the same time. A lot of artists came out and put their own twist to that sound.
It was wild seeing people like the Jada Kisses come down and co-signing people
Yeah.
in Atlanta and Ghost Faces and
Hmm.
all these random New Yorker like staple legacy people coming to the South to get that sauce, right? To try to
Mhm.
kind of surf that wave a little bit. And it was weird to see it, you know, point blank, but
Mhm.
it worked for some people. I think the key was for the people who really made it work were the people who kind of appreciated it but didn't try to like become it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're somebody from New York, you're not an Atlanta person. You're not a down south person. Don't
Mhm.
try to totally make a down south thing. Once you go too far, you can't get it back. But also at
Yeah.
the same time, like, I mean, MF Doom was down in Atlanta around then. And
Oh
so
yeah,
there
for
was
True.
sure, dude. And
so
and
there
it
was a
was
whole nother thing.
it wasn't just like a United States. That's the crazy part
No.
about it. It's not just people from the United States
Yeah.
migrating to Atlanta, but it was everywhere. Like Canadian rappers here were trying to do that sound. Like you had people from overseas, Europe,
Yeah.
trying to do that. Like
It was infectious, man.
yeah, like some guys like Young and Lean from it was trying to do kind of that sound at a point. So it's huge the impact that it had. It was a huge impact.
It
So,
definitely was.
Yeah.
so you're initially from Chicago, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. Oak Park, Chicago.
So, and you lived there till you moved to Atlanta?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
lived in Chicago, bounced around. I'm quite the nomad. After I left Chicago, I was floating around for a little bit, ended up in Atlanta about a year and a half, 2 years later.
how did you, well, before 2012, living in Chicago, how did you contribute that Chicago sound to your music? And have you been applying that sound while you were in Atlanta for the first few albums?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was that was just who I was. There was no way around it at that point. Um, like I'd say 2012 is my official introduction to like seriousness, like the
Mm.
serious effects of being in the game and everything, right? But yeah, I mean, I've been rhyming and spitting as a Chicago MC for a long time, and there's no way around it. I think I try to incorporate as much Chicagoism, as much West Side Oak Park Chicagoism into my current rhyming, and even back then, like that was
Mhm.
it was mandatory. I had to have there are seeds, the language that I use, just like a rapper from Brooklyn or a
Mhm.
rapper from LA uses their slang, or a rapper from Atlanta uses their slang and their terminologies. That's what I was doing. So yeah,
Mhm.
it was essential. It's always there. I mean, that's how I was raised, man. I mean, I got trained in the fire in Chicago, man. I was
Mhm.
out running around freestyle sessions in the middle of the street, like
That's amazing.
real, yeah, ill shit, man.
It's
Shout out
amazing.
Four Eyes.
It's amazing how you were able to, move from different places so you could get all that different hip hop genre within you, right? And you have that
Oh, it's a
advantage
blessing.
right now, right? When
Yeah,
you're making music. And that's something about you that I find sticks out. It's your unorthodox style, your
yeah, thank you.
unorthodox presence on a track, right? And like calling you the punk rock of hip hop, it's something that's very important. And punk rock, is very political, straightforward, the mentality, the aggressiveness, not being afraid to speak your mind, going with the cultural issues, the issues in the world. You
Yes, sir.
have that in your music. And I find you stick out more than a lot of MCs that maybe have that wall in front of them where they don't want to talk about certain things or be as aggressive
Mhm.
or really go into the political route. And
Yeah,
I would maybe put you in, maybe there's about another 4 to 5 more that could do that right now, but you're one of them and you do it so well. Your presence on a track, like just look with all like the God Bless Beats albums you did. Like look
yeah.
at the style of beat that he's able to give you, but look at how you attack the track. It's very different than a lot of other MCs would be able to attack a track that God Bless gives them. If you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
With your
absolutely.
unorthodox style. So
Yeah.
And
and
it's not too preachy either.
no,
No.
That's the fine line, huh? That must be the fine line because
Yeah.
there's the one thing that I always notice with your projects, and that's something that I enjoy listening is when I hear like Redman is my favorite MC all time because I can
Okay.
hear he has fun when he rhymes, and it's the same thing for you. I think even though you always changing the idea of your albums, always a different team, you still have fun to it, and you still have a good message through the fun. So that's something that is always nice to hear. On the last in this last project, I still hear it. I still hear it all through those projects. On the last one, I still hear it. So that's something that is tough to do, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, you said it. First of all, I mean, Redman, you already deciphered one of the infinity stones of my style right there.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Redman is in my core programming, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, you got to have fun. I mean, that's what it's about, man. I think it's you can't if you preach too much, you're gonna lose the people, man. The people don't want to be like lectured to, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, yeah, you want to get a message across, you want to get a lesson across, but you can't just be heavy-handed and, you know, churching them the whole time. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, they're not, you know, that's not what they came to listen to. You know, you don't that gets no play in your ride. You want to be able to ride to stuff. That's another thing of the Chicago kind of essence, man. Like the music that we make, me and Bless, is specifically tested and designed for riding around aimlessly
Hmm.
to stay, you know, while we're staying out of trouble, just bending blocks,
Yeah.
basically riding through the city of Chicago, stopping by, seeing people, whatever. Like when we were being, you know, raised up, that's all we had. We would put whatever album came out, we listened to it from front to back, from whoever it was, while we were riding around the city, hot boxes, smoking,
Hmm.
you know, kicking it, going to the lakefront, doing whatever. And that's, you know, you got to, if you're going to do that, like, you can't be listening to like a lecture. Again, you can't listen to a lecture all day long.
You
But at the
can.
same time, yeah, man, I wanna share knowledge with people. I feel like that's the school of MCing that I appreciated the most, man. Like I want to learn something. Like Wu-Tang taught us, you know,
Yeah. a
Mhm.
hundred
you know what I
percent.
mean?
Yeah.
So I wanna make sure that there's jewels that can be picked up in what I'm saying, and at the same time that is fun. Like I'm gonna give you a little bit of ignorant, a little bit of what the fuck did that
Yeah.
guy say? With
Yeah.
oh man, damn, what did he say? Oh shit, you know. So
That dude, that LeBron line fucking made me laugh on this one. Let me tell
oh,
you that. When it stopped crying, LeBron, I was
stop
like,
crying,
true.
LeBron. You know what I mean?
We
You
know how
know,
you feel about LeBron, though.
hey man, you know, I told you I've kind of retired from my disparaging of LeBron James. You know, um, I after I saw his performance in the Olympics this last summer, you know, I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna
Yeah,
let you
okay.
live. You know, and you know, he makes it so hard. he makes, he
Yeah.
makes it so hard,
Especially this year is all
especially
over the
this year.
media. They
Oh my
make
God.
they make everything possible to make him look like
Yeah,
it's crazy, but
yeah.
it's true. He's really he's something, man. He's really something.
He's special, man.
Yeah.
He definitely has talent. He definitely has skill. I really admire the fact that he takes his regimen serious because
Hmm.
he devotes a lot of money that he gets towards
Mhm.
becoming the best basketball player he can, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
If you're getting paid all that money, you're not supposed to just go trick it off and buy, you know, supercars and houses and watches and jewelry and shit. Like, yeah, sure, get a little bit of stuff, but this is it's being given to you to elevate yourself. Like Tom Brady, for example, he's another dude. He was spending $1 million a year on himself just to become the illest motherfucker that he could
Yeah.
be, to compete. So that's, I mean, yeah, if you have those resources, I think that's very dope. And I like his social work as well, man. You know,
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
yeah, he's a good dude. Like I said, I'm not I'm not gonna disparage LeBron James too tough
Anymore.
anymore
Anymore.
anymore. I will no longer point out the glaring examples of his shortcomings anymore.
It's fucking funny. That's funny.
Um, so we spoke. You spoke about God Bless Beats. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man.
And
Shout out Bless.
his production, and you having that relationship with him for a very long time throughout
Yeah.
Chicago, at Atlanta, and now when he continues to produce for
Hmm.
you, and God Bless Beats' production, man. It's like a cheat code. Okay. And you could
Kind of.
hear it throughout your discography. Like the dude can make any style of beat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
And like
can. I
it's
mean,
what it is. It's like
it is what it is. Yeah.
you have your future waves, you have your Derringers, you have tremendous, you have so many of these artists, but God Bless Beats
Tremendous.
is really a cheat code right now in hip hop because he really can
Yeah,
make anything. He can give you that Atlanta sound. He
yeah,
could give you that authentic hip hop. He could give you jazzy type beats. Like
yeah.
look at your discography and look at like the albums don't feel like it's completely produced by one producer when he makes beats.
No, I mean, and that again, that just comes from, God bless is another dude that is a student of this culture, man. Somebody who's been fully immersed in this, and he takes his craft very serious though too. That's the main
Mhm.
thing. Like the digging that he does, he's serious about it. But also just as far as his I guess his mental Rolodex of like historian type, his historian hat, let's say,
Mhm.
he knows how to properly create the sound of those different types of schools of hip hop, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna give you, like, for example, like when he works with Funk P, Free Funk P, Free Funk P, Free
Mhm.
Funk P, he's gonna give you that real West Coast sound because he
Mhm.
knows, like, okay, yeah, I can come from the DJ Quick type of West Coast sound or the Battle Cat or what, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he can pull, like, he almost has like the Matrix arsenal in his head, it seems like
Mhm.
sometimes when he's making beats. So yeah, I mean, yeah, man, it's definitely cheat code. Yeah, I get lucky. I get to ask him, yeah, craft this up. And the weird thing with him though is, man, like, on most of those beats, let's say 90% of those beats, like I'll have had a rhyme and then he'll have a beat and they just get married.
Oh,
Then
okay,
there'll be
nice.
10% of those beats where we'll be sitting in the same room and making something
Yeah.
at the same time. So it just ends up working out like that. And I get lucky, like being there close to him. I don't live near him now, but when I used to live right down the street from him, yeah, I used to be able to hear stuff right when he was done making it and be like, "Yep, all right, here we go. Here we go." And yeah, that was like being right there in the crack factory. I loved it. It was the best.
Yeah, and look, man, that production, like it's that cheat code. You're lucky to have somebody like that and have that relationship with
Yeah,
somebody,
man.
and you're on the same level, right?
That's
And you
family.
guys understand each other, so that's
Yeah.
why you get the bodies of work that you guys are able to create with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, again, it's like I said, man, it's based off of having the same point of view just from different perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
he's providing the sound, the sound, the beats, I'm providing the lyrics. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just because we've ripped and ran so for so long, years after years, just getting busy, So that's what it is, man. I mean, like that's my cousin, man. So, you
Mhm.
know,
That's
we
amazing.
we yeah, we've been on tons of adventures, man. Me, him, my brother Mega, we do all types of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, that's crazy to hear that you guys 90% you write it and he comes up like the beat is already done and you just combine it, man. That means a lot.
He knows
Yeah,
what you want, right?
yeah, man, it's kind of like that. It's like, you know what? I feel like and if Lukey was here, he'd say pause, but I feel like we get the itch around the same time. You know what I mean? Like it'll
Yeah.
be like he starts creating just on his own, he'll start creating and I'll be writing. And then all of a sudden, like, it'll just be some random night we'll be, posted up. Like he used to have a apartment that we used to just post at all the time. That was constantly the
Mhm.
theme. And then he just put on beats and I'd be like, oh, okay. I bust out the rhyme. And of course it would be like I said, about 9 times out of 10, perfect match. Like, oh, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
this goes with this. Oh, perfect. Yep, this goes with this. And it was, I mean, you can't make it up, man. It was great, man. Can't
And
wait. New
and
project coming soon.
oh shit,
Yeah.
we have it
Yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, new project coming soon.
Oh shit.
We working heavily in 2025, man. In case you didn't notice, I mean, blessed y'all already with the mask and bandanas. Him and Mondo,
Yeah.
get ready.
Top three this year.
2025.
I've been
Hey,
saying it. It's top three albums this year with that Mondo. Like
Bless got some more work coming. Bless got some
I'm
more work
excited.
coming. Get ready.
Malenko, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to know about like your writing. Do you have a technique for your writing? Do you go like chorus for first or last? Do you go for your rhyme, your bars first? How is that process?
Man, it's I write in bits and pieces, man.
Okay.
I might come up with a line,
Mm-hmm.
like three and a half bars, 2 bars, right?
Okay.
And I might build up from that line, build
Okay.
down from that line. I call it like, planting seeds, right? Like you look at
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy the way that I kind of picture it in my mind. It's like you see how people grow crystals and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that,
Yeah.
and they put a little piece of something in there, and then they pull out a whole big crystal. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how I do it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I just build around the idea. Sometimes I think the idea sucks and I destroy everything and start over again fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's usually how it goes.
So
I don't maybe I start with a chorus once every once in a while, but
okay.
usually I end up turning something I've written before into the chorus.
Okay, okay. Oh, that's interesting because
Yeah.
that's the one thing on this album and something you always did, and I mentioned on the podcast a million times. You got hooks, you got good hooks, you got
Catchy.
Appreciate it,
choruses.
man.
Sometimes one of the things that I understand on underground rap is okay, yeah, there's bars, but sometimes when you go a whole 30 minutes just bars, there's
Right.
nothing to hold
Right.
on to. Like there's nothing to hold on to. I feel like that structure of that is not for nothing. That's been there for years. That formula, it's been since
Yeah.
music exists. Is that
Exactly.
catchiness? So that's
Right.
something that you have on this and on this last project. The hooks are off the chain again. I love those hooks.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, again, like I said, I just don't want y'all to be bored, man. I mean, I want people to hear something and be able to, yeah, have a brain worm, you know what I mean? Have something
Yeah,
that
for
sticks with them.
sure. Yeah, for
That's
sure. Yeah.
catchy. So yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, man.
So speaking of brainworm and speaking of your writing process, the Danger Room.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That
shout out my man Mindframe. What up?
that album, if we're gonna talk about top five Primo, I love that
Oh,
project. And the
oh
reason
man,
being
appreciate it.
is because you went into a different vortex with the sound of that album. Like it sounded to me like 2006 LP,
Mm,
Cannibal Ox
yeah, I
style
I
of
can see that.
production, and also the way you attack the tracks, right? And your voice kind of sounds like muffled, like you're in space and you have
Okay.
like an astronaut helmet on while you're rapping. So it kind of really changes the whole atmosphere of the project or what you've already given us. And I really love that. I know it's not a lengthy album, but just being so different really
Yeah.
stands out.
Yeah,
So
man.
the
That's the
mindset.
Mind Frame production. Yeah, that's Mind Frame. Um, his production on there is really what created that atmosphere that you're talking about, man. Me and him, we worked together previously. We did Killdozer. Um, and yeah, his sound is raw, is unpolished, it's industrial.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach I took with it, and that's why it was called the Danger Room. It was just like I felt like I just was going in there sparring, against the setting on 2 points past where it should have been, you know what I mean, and trying to hold my own. And yeah, man, that's what I wanted to do. That's kind of the approach I had, and I just was kind of keep it as raw and unpolished and gritty as I could to kind of match those Mind Fame beats.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
it's
beats are, dude. That's Wu Tang out of space, man. I feel like that was Wu Tang out of
Yeah, that's
space,
what's
bro.
up.
They're rough, bro.
but there's that huge influence, that like definitive Jux style
Yeah.
influence
Yeah,
in there. And
100%.
a
Yeah,
lot of people are scared to touch that style of production, right? If we could talk about Run the Jewels all we want, but if we really
Yeah.
talk about that LP, Aesop Rock, Mr. Liff, C
Yeah.
Ray's Walls type of
Cannibal.
sound,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Cannibal Ox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but see, you're talking about it. I mean, I am a big fan of that Cannibal Ox album when it first came out, man. Um, that to me again, like that's just that raw, uncut, pure hip hop shit, man. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's unapologetic. It's not trying to be um a top 20 pop hit type hip hop. It's not, it's not, it's like, hey, look, we made this just to try to make some dope shit
Hmm.
hip
Yeah.
hop. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that sound.
Out of the
Yep.
box,
Yeah,
unorthodox style, and,
absolutely.
and and it fits super well, and it's a sound that's much needed, and I want to see artists
Yeah,
use that now in the 2020s, right?
yeah. I
So,
think some people will pop out with it on occasion. You'll hear it. But yeah, like you said, I think we're currently on an edge of a transition of this sound. At least
mhm.
that's my opinion of it. I feel like a lot of people have rode the dusty sample era a little too far. There's too many people that are trying to kind of oversaturate it a little bit,
Yep,
and they're not innovating. They're just kind of regurgitating. You
yep,
know what I mean? But I think there are definitely people that are in rebellion to that are going to start coming back with these abstract sounds again, these different angles, these different approaches. So, yeah, man, I mean, by no means am I saying that we're in a decline. I feel like we're just getting started, man. We're in the thick of it right now. Things are
Oh
great
yeah,
right now.
things are great right now. I
best
think
Yeah.
years,
when
best
you
years.
hear like artists like that made it big, you need to think Danny Brown made like
Yes.
pretty popular album
Yeah.
with that sound. You have the
Yep.
JPEGs Mafia right now. They're doing that sound, that
Yeah.
loud music. So yeah, it's still, but I can see the dusty sample, man. I see some there's young people now doing that type of beat. It's
Yeah.
cool to see. It's
I love seeing it.
oversaturated a bit, but it's cool to see that it's coming up though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love seeing the younger folks um like coming fresh out the box and embracing it, man. You
And
know what I mean?
embrace, yeah.
And doing it from their angle. I mean, that's how we know we doing something right, man. You know what I
yeah,
Yeah.
mean? And this thing is it's self-replicating. It's gonna keep on perpetuating. It's gonna keep on going, man. We here for another good. I feel like we got another good 7 years of ill shit,
yeah,
like high
absolutely.
quality ill shit before all of us start getting the syndrome of like, "Ah, I'm sick of this shit. I can't
Yeah.
hear any more of it."
It
Yeah.
You know what I
happens
mean?
though. It's happened to
It
me
does.
before. Like,
Yeah.
and I had a time where I was so invested, the 2006 till about
Yep.
2011 year. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was so invested in underground hip hop, the boot camp clicks, the Sean P's,
Yeah.
definitive Jux. Like I was only listening to that I started to get bored. It sucks to say that way,
Yes.
but I started to
Yeah.
get bored that I
I know what you
really
mean.
wanted to invest in a different sound. And that's where
Yep.
I found Kendrick with Section 80. That's
Mm.
where I went to Rick Ross. Like I wanted more
Yeah.
a different style of sound in my ears. And then it started to come back with West Side Gun, Conway,
Hmm.
Benny,
Yeah.
and that sound
Yeah.
and where we are at now. So, and
Yep.
it's okay. Your ears don't want to be hearing the same thing. I don't want to be watching the same
Absolutely.
movie all the time. You
Yeah.
know what I
Absolutely.
mean? I don't want to be reading the same book. It's the same thing with music.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
So,
I wanted to hate Rick Ross when he came out. When he first came, I wanted to hate Rick
Yeah.
Ross. I wasn't
Yeah.
it. But then when I think Teflon Don came out, it was
Yeah.
undeniable. It was
man,
Yeah.
undeniable. I
come
Yep.
on.
couldn't. I was
Absolutely.
like, okay. I'm like, dude, this is
Is
crazy.
that the
This is
one with the
crazy.
T-Pain song? I'm the boss on it.
No,
Oof.
that's Thriller, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
Trill. Okay, well, he had that run. Let's
Yes.
while we talking about Rick Ross, yeah, because I'm just like you, man. Look, I wanted to hate Rick Ross too.
True.
I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
be like, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here, Rick
Yeah.
Ross. What is this? What a dumb name. How dare you? But
It's crazy. It's crazy.
hey,
And
man, that T-Pain song, "The Boss." Oh my God, that shit
yeah.
is so hot. I mean, and then "Deeper Than Rap" was a great
Oof.
album.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Like you said,
Teflon Don.
Teflon Don was a great album.
Yeah.
I mean, he had what's the one? God don't or it wasn't.
God
the
don't
other,
make mistakes.
No,
God
God,
don't make
God forgives. I don't.
I don't.
God
Yeah.
forgives, I don't. Yeah, that up until that album, I feel like Rick Ross was like he found the formula, and he was
Yeah,
just like, "Yep,
and
here you go,
he could
everybody."
write.
Yeah,
He's a storyteller.
yeah.
We can't remove that away from him. Like that,
No.
he did a song with Ghost and Ray on Shaolin versus Wu Tang,
Oh, I love that song.
right? And
Yeah,
that's when I was
yeah.
like,
It's on
"Holy
my phone right now.
shit!"
Yeah. This
Yeah.
Rick Ross, man. This guy is
Primo Jab episode,
such an
and we're talking
actor.
about Rick Ross.
Hey
He's
man, we gonna dig, man. I told you,
well,
man.
yeah.
I'm into this, man. I'm not gonna stray away from giving people
No,
their respect when the respect is due, man. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um, your album covers, your music videos, song titles. You're a fan of movies. You're a fan of pop culture.
Yes,
You're a
sir.
fan of comic books.
Oh, absolutely. Huge comic book dude.
And I love the way you bring that into your music, just like what you did with Japocalypto and the music videos, right?
Oh, yeah, those videos. Shout out Stars Coleman, because
Shout out Stars Coleman.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I fed him concepts of what I wanted it to look like, and he put that together, man. He put those promos together, man. So shout out Stars. But again, yeah, you got to shout out Bless again, because that's another thing. Bless is another. He's a huge movie dude, and he's always trying to find some visuals that go with his soundtracks, right? So
Mhm.
he he has a deep knowledge of movies, and he'll pull various scenes and be like, oh yeah, this will go good with this. And he makes a lot of videos just on his phone and puts them up. So yeah, that's all blessed. That's from the mind, the sick, twisted mind of God bless.
and and the Japocalypto, it really went, like the videos really went with the sound of the album.
Yes, sir.
It,
Yeah,
it, it was brilliant to see, and we've spoken about that
appreciate
album
it.
together, and just
Yeah,
how much I was invested in that, and it was so different, and hearing that sound coming to formation, just the videos and just the rollout to it.
yeah,
It's important to have that and not just put out an album, 10
yeah,
songs, and let people listen. Like, invest in your project, invest in what you're giving to the people that want to hear it. Music videos, I find, are super important for when an album comes out,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so. Yeah,
right? And the album Jab Goblin, like the cover art to that,
yeah. Shout out E, Carl's wife, Erica.
brilliant.
She did that. Again, yeah, just being a comic book head, I found the art that I wanted it to be, and I said, this is what I want you to draw, because that's the remake of a cover of an Amazing Spider-Man cover that
Okay.
the Hobgoblin was on.
Okay.
But I told her, take it and jab it up a little bit, and she delivered, man. And
Your
he
favorite
is
Spider-Man character?
well, yeah, I mean, when I first started reading comic books, that was right when the Hobgoblin came out.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, he's always kind of stuck with me. But it was really just work, shout out Hobgoblin, my man across the pond. It just happened to blend together like that, man. And I was like, oh yeah, I already know your name's Hobgoblin, say less. Again, like I said, I got the love for the comic book. So I was like, okay, I got the knowledge for that. Get ready. It's gonna be a busy year. Stay tuned. Get
Love it.
ready. Get ready.
And shout out to E for that cover, because
Hell yeah, shout out E.
Shout out.
She's working. She got another look. All right, I'll spill the beans. Hey man, Revenge of the Jab Goblin. It's on the way too, man. It's coming,
Oh
man.
shit.
I'm
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
busy, man. 2025. I'm busy, man. I'm burning the candles at both ends, man. It's up. It's
There you
stuck
go.
and it's up.
love it. The cover art on Japocalypto. Explain to me. I need to understand it. I don't
Yeah.
understand why you've never made shirts, unless you did and I missed them.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna get you one. Shout
Please, I'll
out.
pay. I don't care.
Yeah, shout out Seppington. Seppington actually made some alternative art. Trevor Lang is the one who created that face, who created the face image, the Phuket, the run face.
It's
If you've
crazy.
seen the movie Apocalypto,
Absolutely.
that's when he was in the woods having his vision, and that face told him run, like
Okay.
get out the way. So that's where that came from, and the whole idea behind Jab Apocalypto was, yeah, it was based basically off of Apocalypto, but specifically off of the fact of, your civilization, the guys, they were just living in the woods and they
Mm-hmm.
got encroached upon by the Aztecs, right? And
Mhm.
then when they fought for their survival, they beat the Aztecs just to find out, once he made it to the shore, oh shit, here come the alien invaders, getting ready to ruin your life all over again. So it was like, yeah, just when you thought you overcame the worst you had to overcome, get ready for
Something.
some more bullshit. So you got to
Yeah.
stay on point, man. So that was the whole kind of Jab Apocalypto vibe, man.
And the beats fit the concept, the mindset, the videos. It just all flowed perfectly.
Appreciate it. Yeah, again, we sat down and crafted that one. Like that's one of those ones where me and Bless were actually dedicated to crafting it a certain way. It
Mhm.
wasn't like, I mean, there might have been two beats on there that he already had, and he was like, yeah, rhyme with these ones. I think it was the one with Funk and the one right after that, Another Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I mean, he was making a beat. The next week I'd rhyme on it. Then he'd make some more beat. He'd be like, okay, I heard what you were doing there. Then he'd come back with some more and some more. And we just kept doing it like that until we had like 10 songs. And then the last two songs we had already heard everything. And we were like, it needs something else. And that's when we got Off the Rip and Loose Ends with
Mhm.
Snotty.
Crazy
Those are,
track.
yeah, that's, yeah,
Amazing way to end off the album.
it felt like it. It felt like the
Mhm.
end. Like when we did that, it was like, yeah, that was it. Shout out Snotty, man. That, yeah, that I love that song. I mean, I love the whole project, man. Shout out everybody who was on there. Water especially too.
Great.
Water
Yeah.
went crazy
From
on there.
Chicago.
Yep,
Amazing
yeah, yeah,
MC.
absolutely.
His
Super
album
MC,
with
man.
Wavy to God last year was un- nobody spoke about it.
No.
Nobody
I'll say,
spoke
No.
about it
you're
enough.
the only
Yeah.
one who
No.
mentioned it in the year-end recap on
People
the
people
pod.
were giving me side eyes for saying that Water was like one of the illest MCs of the year last year. I was like,
Mhm.
what were y'all listening to? The album that he did with the standouts was crazy. The Honorable Part Two,
Yeah.
that shit was insane. And
Mhm.
I mean, him and Muchacha, I mean, they make crazy shit. Him and Tone Beats,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they went crazy 2 times in a row last. I mean, yeah,
I don't like
man,
the word
yeah,
underrated, but
yeah.
that's like nobody
I'm
spoke
like
about
you,
him,
yeah,
Mhm.
right?
yeah.
Do you think
It's all
that's your
right.
most
They'll learn. They'll learn.
Yeah, they
soon
catch
enough?
on. Yeah.
Yep,
It's
soon
soon
enough.
enough. Do you think it's your most important album to date?
Important. That's a big statement there, Stephen. That's a big statement. Important album. Yeah,
That's
I
the
don't
album I'm
know.
giving people if they say, "Give me a first Primo Jab album."
Ah, then yes. If I wanted that to be a first impression, something that I feel like would spark people's interest to want to listen to me some more, to go be like, oh, he has more stuff, and go look me up. Yeah, I either that or I might say Book of Jab, like Volume Two, Book of Jab, because I
Great
think that
record.
one, yeah, that was another one again where we were really on task of trying to distill our dogma, you know what I
Hmm.
mean,
Mhm.
and really put it forward. But I like Jab Apocalypto. I'd give that to the Martians if they showed up.
It's
Absolutely.
present. It's in
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
getting a clothesline or getting kicked in the face,
Oh yeah. 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 A good,
right?
yeah, a good what is it? Trapeze kick, something
Ex-
like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, Conway the Machine.
Yep.
You had
Shout out my man Conway.
Tragedy Gaddafi
Yeah.
and Ras Kass on your albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Look,
crazy.
Serious
That's a
serious
crazy
rappers,
lineup.
man.
It's serious.
that Tragedy Gaddafi song,
Yeah.
Imperialism at the end
Thank
of
you.
Book of Jab, Volume 2.
Yeah.
Hearing him on a project with you, when the song came on, and I was like, fuck, it sounds so familiar. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I press and I just let things go. Right. I actually learned that from Malenko. Shout out to Malenko for that.
Yeah.
Shout out
Shout
Malenko.
out.
So, and I was like, wow, this is incredible in 2022, 2023, being able to hear him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did that come together?
I mean, again, just being a fan of number one, being a fan of Tragedy, but just of his style of rap. You know what I mean? That beat to me sounded like the type of shit that he would go crazy on.
Mhm.
That a Queens MC, a Queensbridge MC like
Mhm.
him, you know, from his cloth would go crazy on. And he, you know, in the past 4 years, right? He's been out here lurking,
Mhm.
getting busy. So I mean, shout out my cousin Jason Staten. He connected me with Razcast, and he connected me with Tragedy Gaddafi. So yeah, man, it was an honor to be able to have him on the album, and you know, to have that in my catalog, man. Like, cause yeah, I appreciate the value of who Tragedy Gaddafi is, man. Absolutely.
And
So
I'm sure you learned from him and Roscos, right? You learned from those two because your style fits with their style, right?
yeah, I mean, it's complimentary, absolutely, but it's only complimentary because yeah, again, in my DNA codes, in my source codes of my style, you'll find bits and pieces of them. And just like again, what you were saying, as far as knowledge spitters go, I think Razcast is
Raz.
obviously his name is at the top of the pyramid
Mhm.
Mhm.
as far as people that deliver a message and deliver knowledge to you of things that are sparking your brain and be like, holy shit, what is he talking about? Wait a minute,
Yep.
let me look that up. And it was dope to actually get up and do the video with him for Pokey.
Mhm.
Definitely kicking it with him that day and knocking that shit out because it was right before he had a show that night too in Atlanta.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, I got to meet him and just obviously build with him a little bit for the day. It was yeah, it's definitely a good learning experience. Yeah, man, you
The
learn a
the
lot about things.
the brilliant minds of hip hop. It's crazy how it comes together.
Yeah.
Let's get into the new album.
All
Came
right,
out
let's do it.
February 25th.
Yes, sir.
What Do Sound Smell Like?
What
Produced
do sounds smell
completely
like?
by Uncle Fester.
That's right.
Okay. Canadian,
That's right.
Nova
Nova
Scotia.
Scotia,
Nova Scotia, man.
Halifax in the building. My
That's cr-
Halifax plug. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How did that link up? You and Uncle Fester, the soundscape to the album that we have to get into. But how did you get that whole thing together with him?
Mhm.
Man, so yeah, we linked actually based off of the Abyss show. Um,
Mhm.
it Uncle Fester came on early on. Like I feel like he was like on episode 7 or 8 or something crazy like that.
Oh shit.
Wow.
And yeah, man, just kicking it, talking shit on the show. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send you some beats." I was like, "All right, cool, bet." And he sent me a pack, and that's what the colors taste like ended up
Mhm.
being. So we did that little 6 song EP. Um, and it was, again, I like his ear. I like Fester's ear and his production style. Obviously, he's a dude who's cut his teeth in hip hop. But he's 100% authentic Nova Scotian, Canadian, Atlantic provinces Canadian. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like his music sounds like that. It sounds distant and foreign, right? But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It I don't know. That's just it has that flavor to it, man. So I thought it was really cool to be able to work with him. So that's how we did that first one. And then when we came back for this second one, he just sent me another pack. He's like, "Hey, it's time to get back to work." And I've had that pack. This project was supposed to come out last year.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, but it didn't, which was a good thing because I got to write more,
Mhm.
polish it out a lot more, devote a lot more time to the intricacies of it, like the hook stuff, like you're
Yeah.
saying, like really deleting a bunch of just extra words and things out of rhymes and taking my time. Fester sent me maybe 17, 18 beats and we got it
Okay.
down to
Wow.
that. Um and I didn't want it to sound like anything else. Again, like I felt like one of the things that I do, like y'all said, I mean, I don't try to sound like anybody. I try to be, you know, original. I try to, just keep it where it's dope and authentic and unique. And I felt like all the beats that he was giving me didn't sound like anything I had rapped on before or
Mm-hmm.
anything that people were rhyming on currently. So I was like, yeah, yeah, let's go. Like I felt like there was a lot of almost like a tribe influence to a little bit of it, you
Jazzy,
know.
soulful.
Yeah, jazzy soul type stuff, but
Yeah,
But it's still
yeah,
grimy.
man.
But it's
Yeah,
still
but still
grimy. It
grimy.
still has
Yeah.
that touch of griminess.
but it's
Yeah.
that 90s, even like anywhere
Yeah.
between 90 and 96 type of sound on it, like
Yeah.
that authentic hip hop that
Mm-hmm.
maybe we haven't heard you on, but we have because there is
Yeah.
a couple of God bless beats that he could bring you there. But this had
I
more
can
of
hear
like
that.
there was scratching, there was so much
Yeah.
old school hip hop influence sound
Yeah.
in there, and just like the way you started, been in for a minute now, it's perfect timing. Another
Yeah.
battle in the field. We still on assignment.
Yes,
It
sir.
kind of
Yes, sir.
it shows what your presence is there with that style of
Yep.
beats. It's like, hey,
Yep.
look, it's a different style of beats, but we're still here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still gonna be here. I'm still gonna attack it the same way, and it's just different,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's it. Yeah, man. I mean, same day, different shit, man. That's what I'm doing. My program doesn't change, man. It's all about the utter and total destruction of whackness wherever I see it. What I mean? It's all about the domination of the pure and the righteous, and let our presence continue to spread across earth like the great and grand virus that it is. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like, let's be dope. You know what I mean? Like, let's not suffer the bullshit, man. Let's
Yeah.
go to war with it and aggressively eliminate it from our lives. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the approach always. But yeah, man, Fester, yeah, he was in his bag, man. He came with something, like you said. I mean, yeah, Bless got some jazzy beats that I've
Mm-hmm.
spit on, but
Mhm.
Bless beats is a whole different category compared to what do sounds smell like. What do the sounds smell like is a whole different um chamber of beats.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
different chapter of something, and I think it's dope for people if they take the time to like kind of hear my sound over the years, to hear that album versus hearing a Jab Apocalypto. They'll be like, okay, yep. I think that the comparison between the two, you'll really be able to see. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I see this guy's style now. I see who he is. Okay, he's one of those rapper guys. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
into that stuff.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that because that's how I first started. The first album was the Book of Job Volume 2.
Okay.
So after that, I followed through, and Job Apocalypto was sick, and that's exactly what I thought of. Is like the difference. I can see your style on the different beats on here, like Sweet Equity. Like that beat is
Yeah.
sick, and you still flow through that thing, and that's
Appreciate
something
it. Yes, sir.
that's something that's tough, man. That's something that's tough.
Shout out
That
Mesquine Eileen, man. Shout out
yeah, that's
Mesquine Eileen. Flames
that's one of
worthy.
my favorite songs on here.
Yeah, man.
100%.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
But that's where the MC's phrase comes from for you, is what you were able to showcase on this album,
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
right? Look at the beats too. Like there's trumpets on
Yeah.
here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
piano. There's a
Yeah.
couple of tracks that sound very spacey, and
Mm-hmm.
then the beat changes.
Yep.
Like I love that. It really showcased hip hop like in a different form in
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
Mav,
I mean,
Killed it.
come on,
the
man. That
philosopher.
the philosopher, the great philosopher himself, Mav. Yeah, man. Like, hey, man,
Yeah.
that was a blessing to get Mav on there, and that was, I told him the other day that I was just honored to be able to put a chapter of Mav in his great enlightenment run
Mhm.
next to me, man. Like that's dope. I'm so glad that people can hear Mav on there talking the talk that he talks, man. Like Look, you ever stayed away? You know, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
He killed it, bro. He killed
And
that
Mav
verse.
went crazy on there.
when he comes on a track, he takes up so much space,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he gives you a timing. It's like before he
yes,
starts his verse, you hear him, and
yep,
then it's like, oh shit, it's Mav. Let me pay
yeah,
attention.
right, right. Yo, that's dope. Yeah, absolutely, man. Because you hear it, he comes in, look, and you're like, oh, damn. All right, get ready. What's he about to tell me now? And then he just goes into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. That's yeah. He's one of the gifted MCs out here, man. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, and the episode that you guys did with him after that whole year of what he went through,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the different light that Mav really put himself in and how you guys were able to have that conversation with him, to me, is probably top 5 episodes you guys have ever done.
Same. Yeah, that's how we feel. And it's funny enough, that's like right, that's when he wrote that verse. He wrote
Oh,
that
wow.
verse. I didn't even know what he was going through. He wrote the
Oh
verse
wow.
before he came on that episode. I didn't
Oh
know,
wow.
we didn't know, he didn't reveal any of that until he revealed it to all of us on the show that day. And that I told him after the episode, I'm like, bro, man, that makes to me that makes this verse that you gave me even more special because, and I hope I ain't man, forgive me, I hope I ain't overstepping my bounds, but he said it on the episode, like, like that was when he wrote that verse for me, he was like, yeah, I'm coming back. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, this was the first verse I wrote coming out of the darkness that he said was going into. I was
Wow.
like, man, you killed it. I was like, that was
Killed it.
that was dope, man. I mean, you can, yeah, it's a timeless verse. So yeah, man. Shout out Mab, man. Shout out his genuineness and his authenticity, man, and his desire to, to leave people better than they were, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a gifted
Yeah.
human being, a
Very much
philosopher.
so.
You pay attention when he speaks, whether if he speaks
Got
or
to.
he's giving us knowledge. It's very important, and it's amazing to have MCs like this in
Yep.
just the times that we are, and we should be blessed with that for real. Petty LaBelle, probably my favorite
Eddie
track.
Lavelle. Yes, sir. Yeah, good looking. Yeah, I love that song.
I love that because it feels like that beat was made for Reasonable Doubt.
Woo.
Do you
Yeah.
get
Wow,
do
that's
you get
dope.
what I'm getting at with
Yeah, I
the,
know
the, the
exactly what you
Reasonable
mean.
Doubt soundscape and that beat
Yeah.
with the I don't know what the sample is. I'm terrible with samples, by the way, but just that sample sticks out
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
and
I know
how
what
you
you
were able
mean.
to flow on it too, right? It gives that authentic 90s sound.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a special song, man. Shout out Upgrade, aka Ice Lord, the real Ice Lord.
Hmm.
Because it wouldn't be the song that it is if he wasn't on there. Um,
He did great.
yeah,
Absolutely.
his voice was made for that song. But yeah, man, that's it again. That's Fester came with that pack. When I heard that song, and I was like, oh yeah, I need that. I need that beat. And I didn't know what I was gonna do with it, but then, I knew it had to be some sort, like that's why I really took time. I wrote the hook first on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Malenko. I
There you
made
go.
the hook first. Yep.
Hmm.
And then ended up making the song after and made my verse after that. And then sent it to Ice Lord. And then he came and finished it up.
You see,
Uh,
I don't know why I had that feeling that the hooks came for some
Yeah.
songs first. That's why I asked you the
Good
question.
ear.
But
You're a pro. You're no slouch.
oh,
You
well,
know what you're doing here. You know what you're doing.
we listen to a lot of music, so sometimes,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know y'all do, man. I mean,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
man, hold on, man. I'm gonna give y'all rosy, man. Shout out y'all for doing the Lord's work and continually
Thank you.
episode 2078, whatever episode this is, you know what I mean? Like y'all stay putting in a lot of work and doing the leg work and listening to a lot of music, man. You can only do that if you love it, man. So yeah, it's an honor that, there's other people out here that are taking this thing serious and keeping this thing alive. That's the only reason why we gonna make it,
yeah.
because it's legitimized through people like yourselves, man, like devoting time like this to talk about it, man. People gonna look at these archives in the future and be like, "Oh, okay, I
It's
know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
important.
It's
Like,
it's
fun. It's
important."
fun too.
Yeah,
It's fun. I
yeah,
still love it. I still love to listen to new projects all the time.
I just
same, same.
and I appreciate those kind words. It's I want look, I said this on a couple of episodes ago, actually the Josiah and West Side Gun review. I said
Yeah, I
I
love that
was
Josiah album. Shit
It's
crazy.
sick. So
That
sick.
shit crazy.
I-
Shout out
It's crazy,
Machacha.
man.
I took a break
Machacha
from
crazy, man.
I took a break from the album.
That's
It was
fine.
it's
I
too
get
much
it.
to handle.
Yeah, you probably played it like 6 times in a row. I get it. I
Yeah,
understand.
right. So
I
Yeah, for
understand. I know
sure.
exactly what
we're
you're doing.
fans of this stuff. We love this stuff.
Yeah.
And I mentioned, I'm like, I used to be okay with getting 50 to 100 listeners. I
Yeah.
was okay with that, but I'm not okay with that anymore. And the reason being is because I want people to understand that what I listen to, they should be listening to. Do you
Yeah.
get what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
take the Primo Jab album, fucking listen to it. It's
Check it
great.
out. You
Take
might
the
like it.
Josiah album. Understand what I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, stop trying to live in a box. If you want to
Yeah.
live there, that's fine. It's okay. Do
Yeah.
your own thing. But there's so many great, phenomenal artists out there, and we're just still stuck on the the quote unquote listening to the old stuff. It's fine. You could listen to it. It's fine.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
listening to it.
I
But for
love
the
it.
love of
Yeah.
God, grow with the music. Go
Exactly.
out there. Fucking
Exactly.
take the time. Fucking invest. Why
Yeah.
are we so comfortable that with what we have? Why can't we just go research? Why can't we go listen to a pod? Why can't we just, hey, the album cover fucking looks cool.
Looks
I'm gonna
cool.
press play.
Yeah. See, look, man, you're preaching to the choir, obviously, with me because I totally agree with what you're saying,
Mhm.
but I feel like we represent a very small segment of the population,
Oh,
man.
for sure.
Because
For sure.
at a certain point, the human brain loses its desire to learn new stuff
Mhm.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It just loses the dopamine kick, let's say, the passion of discovering that new song or whatever. Doesn't mean the same to you anymore for certain people, for a
Yeah.
large group of people. Music isn't the same, or this hip hop ain't the same thing. And like you said, like, hey man, look, I was just playing The Infamous the other day. I was just playing Cuban Links the other day, Reasonable Doubt the other day. Uh The Sun Rises in the East. I was just playing these albums the other day. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not one of these people, and I refuse to become one of these people that is a curmudgeon in
Mhm.
this, right?
Yeah.
Who's like, oh yeah, no, they don't make any more good music. It stopped being good after year XXX, whatever the
Bullshit.
case is.
Bullshit.
This album was the high water point of anything. Nothing will be doper than this and whatever. It's like, man, come on, man. I get it. Look, I love Smith and Wesson The Shining.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Great fucking album. I swear upon it. It's a dope album.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love Death and the Magician.
Yeah.
I think it's one of, I think Razor's Edge is one of
Yep.
the dopest albums that's come out in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even then, if I want to go back a little bit more, I feel like Albert Einstein, Prodigy
Yep.
Albert Einstein with The
Alchemist.
Alchemist. Oh my God, that to me that was like a beacon in the darkness for
Fuck.
at a certain point. I was like, oh shit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Prodigy came back with a vengeance and reinvigorated things for me at that point. I was like, yeah, okay. Shit's live. Shit is super live. And
Yeah.
I mean, Raekwon went crazy on that album. Rock
Yeah.
Marcy went crazy on that album.
Oof, that
Yeah,
Rock
it was-
Marcy joint
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there.
Rock
Prodigy
Marcy
and,
song.
imagine, like, we grew up listening to hip hop thinking that Prodigy and Rock Marcy were going to be able to do a song together. For
Yeah.
the brain, for us as hip hop fans, when we see something like that, it's like, what is it going to sound like?
It was
We
great.
get excited. Like,
It was
we
it was
love
just what I wanted it to be.
Right?
It couldn't have been any better than what I thought it was gonna be, man. It was great.
Man,
You know?
imagine Prodigy now when all these artists,
Man.
man. Prodigy Rome Street. Can you believe
Come
how
on, man.
that would sound? Woof.
I'm
It
trying
would
to
be
tell you. I
sick.
mean, I'd love to hear Prodigy and Flea doing a lot
Flea.
more stuff. I mean, again,
Right.
going back to God Bless Beats, he got Prodigy on a beat, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
On Flea Lord's Lord Talk Volume
Yeah.
1.
Mhm.
grimy
But I
fucking song. Holy
super
shit.
super ill song. Super
Yeah.
ill song. But yeah, I'd love to hear if Prodigy was alive now, I think he would definitely, I mean, his value would still be, you know, legacy untouched, maxed out.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Prodigy and Pro on a song.
Come on, Prodigy and Pro Dillinger would be crazy.
Crazy.
Would be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you already know that he probably made 2 collaboration albums with Conway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that point,
Yeah.
if we're talking if Prodigy's still alive. So I mean, yeah, man, Prodigy's another dude. I think we owe a lot to Prodigy, man. Prodigy is a
Absolutely.
patron saint of this abyss culture, of this underground renaissance that we're
Yeah.
in right now. He is one of our patron saints. Him and Sean Price, absolutely.
Sean Price,
As
yeah.
as much as people talk about MF Doom, and
Man.
hey, I love Doom. I'm a huge Doom fan, but as far as I think just for like the MC, like the grimy MC world that we're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about, it's those two. Like they're the beacons of light that really inspired the people that are out here currently doing what they do and keeping this shit funky. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
for sure, man.
HNIC 2. Okay.
Yeah.
HNIC 2 is crazy. I love
The
HNIC
shit
2.
he was talking about on
Veterans
there,
Memorial.
Yeah.
nobody would talk about that.
No.
Nobody,
Exactly.
right? Nobody
Yeah.
was even
Nobody.
thinking about talking about stuff like
Nope.
that. And yeah, it's the second one. Yeah, he was probably in his G Unit phase, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
He
cares?
he
was.
was
Yeah, he
able
was.
to go back to us that darkness. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the main albums that kind of created a lane. Yes, Rock Marcy, 110%.
Yeah.
110% were reloaded. But that HNIC 2,
Yes, sir.
go listen to it now,
Yeah.
created the lane of a lot of the artists that we're listening to, that darkness of the album.
People don't talk a lot of that album, man.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Yeah, it deserves more shine than it gets. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
You'll hear no arguments from me. I love HNIC too. I think
Crazy.
it was a great project for what it was when he put it out.
It would
Absolutely.
fit so well now for people to go. And
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the artists that we listen to, including yourself, are influenced by that sound and that approach that Prodigy had.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet, especially Prodigy, the Prodigy era of Return of the Mac, HNIC 2,
Mhm.
and Albert Einstein. To me, those 3 albums of Prodigy's, those are my favorite Prodigy. Like that's
Mhm.
Prodigy.
Mhm.
That put a battery in my back. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Like I love that era of Prodigy. I think he was on a mission then. Like you said, he was talking some high quality shit on
Mhm.
HNIC 2 as far as being very focused on being anti-establishment and getting yourself together to be prepared for the trickery that's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, man, he was on his shit, man. Absolutely.
Brilliant record. The cover art to What Do Sound Smell Like? Please
Shout out to
explain,
Rooster.
because my brain,
Sure.
I look at it and I try and find everything that's going on in there, and that makes it great because it's going to bring me to my next point of regarding about putting out physicals. Like when you get this, when I get it in the mail,
Yeah, it's
I'm
coming.
gonna look at it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting. It makes so much sense to what the music that has to go with it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Well, all right. So, again, the title of the album, What Do Sounds Smell Like? Sequel to What Do Colors Taste Like?
Mhm.
These are weed references. These is marijuana references. What do colors excuse me, what do colors taste like? Colors taste like, Granddaddy colors taste like
Mhm.
Blue Dream. Colors taste like Panama Red. All the
Mhm.
various flavors of weed that had the color names, right?
Yeah.
What do sounds smell like? Sounds smell like loud, loud as in loud dope, loud weed. But funky. Sounds smell funky, and that's the funkiness of the beats that Fester
Yeah.
had. You know what I mean? It's a different chamber. It's a funky chamber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, still with the weed ref. So that's why you see it's really psychedelic for the cover. The Rooster again, I gave him free reign to go into his deepest psychedelic mushroom trip, whatever he wanted to do, and go crazy. But as far as Cuba Gooding Jr. in the middle,
Yeah.
so Cuba Gooding Jr. is like a secret scumbag.
Yeah,
of
that's what I was asking Steven
yeah,
just before. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to hear
Yeah,
about
you
yeah,
that.
said
man.
radio. And I
Yeah,
was like, who
I
the
was like,
fuck is he talking about?
I was like,
Never go full retard, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you're on to it. Yeah, I mean, there was again in the past, let's say, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years or so, we've discovered more and more of the behind the scenes
Mhm.
insanity of Cuba Gooding Jr. But really, again, what do sounds smell like? I think we can all remember what it sounded like in Boys in the Hood when he fell on
Yep.
his knees in front of Brandy and he was like, oh, crying. Little did we know when we found out, I think this happened 4 or 5 years ago. Little did we know that during that scene, he said he was sneaking sniffs of her coochie.
Oh my god, yo,
It's
That was
that's
fucking
funny.
during that
insane.
scene. It's insanity, right? He said, "Oh yeah, I was down there. I
Insanity.
was I was sneaking sniffs of her coochie." I said, "What, sir? What did you say?" So yeah, it was just it was inspired by the insanity of him, but then also like the styling of the album cover, the like the typology of it.
Mhm.
Um, I was inspired by, again, this is some comic book shit. There's this album cover where the Joker is sitting on, or this comic book cover where the
Okay,
Joker's in the middle of the cover, and it's just ha 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 ha
everywhere.
all
Okay, yeah.
behind him. And I was like, yeah, I want it to be like that. So that's where that came in. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah. And then I told, Rooster said, okay, I'm gonna make some musical notes because you're smelling it. And I was like, all right, Rooster, go for it.
Fucking
And
Nice.
crazy.
Rooster,
It's a
Killed
yeah,
it.
fucking
Rooster went
crazy
crazy,
cover.
man.
Art is so important in hip
It
hop.
is.
Like, and let's be honest with each other. The album covers from back in the day, yeah, they were cool. You had the faces on there. Like,
Yeah.
but now as it grows, fuck, it's so interesting.
Yes,
Like
sir.
these artists that are doing these covers, it's important. Like the
Think about
art,
Fly God.
right?
Yeah.
Who would have, like, if Fly God, you invest in it because
Hmm.
of the cover. The
Yeah.
cover looks cool.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I looked at the cover and I'm like, holy shit, this is cool. I'm gonna press
Super
play.
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Danny Brown told me to go listen to it, but it's super cool. So here's more of my investment in the music. Right. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
and I think that's a different way for people to get into music. You see a dope ass cover like that, and you're like, what's the mindset of the person that's put this together?
Yeah.
Where's his brain? What's his process? I want to know what his process is. And by pressing play, I'm gonna get into it and I'm gonna see where his mind was at. I
Mhm.
find it just adds more flavor to the musicality, and it adds more flavor to the
Yeah.
project and the whole concept of everything. And I love that about like what hip hop is doing and what you're doing and what so many of these artists are doing now with their cover art. It's important not to just put a face on it, right?
Yeah. I know for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yep. I mean, you got to shout out the artists. That's what
yeah.
it's really about, because these are people that, again, are people who are a part of this culture, right? That are living in this culture. They are denizens of this culture. So this is their expression of hip hop. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Especially, like, I mean, we're talking about Sep when we talk about Fly Guys. You know what I mean? Sep and
Mhm.
10 created something that was so simple that is now so iconic, and that seemed to be his style. I mean, you got so many artists, whether it's Kip the Fog, whether it's Dave Proch, whether it's uh
Shout out
Craig
Proach.
Dyer. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's so many people out here. Chris B. Murray, Stabmaster Arson. Everybody got their own styles too.
Mhm.
That's what makes it dope. And that's why I feel like we're in such a great era. Like you said, I mean, people are really understanding that, yeah, the art is what draws you in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
if the art is on point, because just like you said, literally, Stephen, I said this the other day. You'll see it on the next episode. We're talking about this, so it's like great minds think alike. I
Mhm.
said the same exact thing. It's like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the album cover to The Shining. I love the album
Mhm.
cover to Only Built for Cuban Links,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they're iconic. But I feel like they're iconic after the fact, right? Like after you've listened to the music and you're like, oh yeah, 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 I
Mhm.
love this. Yeah,
I
oh, this
get it.
album cover is perfect. It makes perfect sense. But I don't think they were what drew you into buying it. Like I
No,
don't
for
No.
think
sure.
Yeah, I didn't buy Cuban Links just because of the cover. I bought Cuban Links because it was, Raekwon and Wu-Tang. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Same thing with The Shining. I bought it because it was the next, boot camp click. It was Smith and Wesson. I was like, okay, yeah, bet. Let's see what this is.
Yeah, you
Really, I
heard
bought
it.
that. Yeah, I bought it off the strength of a Soundboy Burial video, I think.
Oh
That's
Fun
shit.
probably,
video.
man, I fucking love that song. Hey, I love this. I love The Shining. That's another one of those albums. But yeah, just to your point. Yeah, exactly. It's a you can't you we wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't a collaborative effort between the artists saying, "Hey, I want to make sure that I'm lacing you with something that's representative of the dope that I feel like you're putting forward or that we're trying to put forward." So,
Hmm.
yeah, you
Absolutely.
got to shout them all day long.
Yep.
Absolutely. Keep the Fog with the Feed
Yeah.
the Family cover with Amy Winehouse with the needle.
Exactly. Yeah. The Zing
Fuck.
language.
Right.
Yeah. That shit is
That's
crazy.
that's grimy. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Um,
crazy cover.
you continuously put out your projects on physicals.
Yes,
How
sir.
important is that for you?
Very. I feel like the physical stuff is what's gonna last. Like somebody's gonna go to some record store in the future and they're gonna be digging through the CD bin and they're gonna find, a Primo Jab CD, man. Because who knows when the internet crashes or whenever, Elon Musk decides to cut off Starlink or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck, right? You know what I mean? And none of us can access the cloud, it's gonna be rough. Those physical copies that means something. And I mean that's just again, that's where I came from. That's the hip hop era I came from as far as being an artist, being a DIY artist. It meant something to press up your music and go hand to hand and have something physical to give people. I love the digital world. I love streaming, in concept, but yeah, man, I
Yeah.
think the
Just
physicals really make it special.
it adds value. You
100%.
want to own it, like especially for
Yeah,
you as the artist. Like you want to be able to leave something for people one day. You know what I mean? It's like
yes, sir.
who's Primo Job? Oh well, here's a CD from him, right? Here's a physical copy that I could touch, open it
Hmm.
up, see pictures, have the CD, being able to play it. I find the digital really kills that,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I was
Decreases the
actually
value.
it's not fair, man. The digital realm has really been become a detriment, man, because
Mhm.
now it can be manipulated so quickly. Like they take away versions of songs. They don't give you access to stuff if you download it. It's like, oh, sorry, you can't have this song anymore in wherever you're located.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it's like that's why if you own the physical, they can't stop you. You know
Mhm.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I remember when people were talking about they couldn't hear $500 ounces
Oh
on
yeah.
that on yeah, what is it? Pray for Paris, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, "Hey man, sucks for y'all. I got a physical, so
Exactly.
I'm good. I'm not even tripping off that." But it's like Freddie Gibbs just he put out that Happy Birthday song.
Hmm.
That was kind of the diss to Benny, and that
Yeah.
shit's taken down off digital. Like you can't even hear it anymore. So it's like, man, you know,
Yeah.
get a
And
physical, man. Support the artist. Get the
yeah, look
physical.
look at what Mickey just did with the album he
Oh
dropped.
man, I
Like
slept, bro.
you, oh
Literally
you
slept.
missed it?
I literally slept. Like so it launched at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the part one. And I hopped on at like I was in the middle of a work fucking day and I'm at work doing fucking work like a jerk, right? And I hop on at 3:06. Those are all gone. I'm like, fuck,
Sold out.
okay.
Yeah.
They said, don't worry, we're coming back at 12 o'clock tonight. I said, perfect. So tell me why I'm sitting there. Number one, I'm heavy on these marijuana infused drinks
Oh
now,
shit.
these
Okay.
THC drinks.
Yeah.
Fucking love them, man. Love them. I can't smoke because so I don't smell like super loud dope around my
Yeah.
my sweet precious son. But I definitely drink these. But anyway, long story short, I had several of those and went to close my eyes at 10:56, woke up at
Uh,
12:08 and
no,
missed
it's
the
done.
second drop.
It's
And I
done.
was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's
And I
done.
really wanted that one too, man. Yeah, tremendous beats, Mickey. Yeah, I really wanted that.
Diamond cutter, right?
Diamond
Like
cutter. Yeah, the
I
diamond
was
cutter.
I have a disease with buying CDs and music. We've had this
It's all right. You're in a
conversation
safe
before,
place. Yeah, you're in a safe place. It's
Yeah,
all right.
right?
yeah.
Uh,
Every
I'll
year
be
he
your
says to
alarm
stop,
clock.
but
Just let me be your alarm clock. You just need to let
Yeah.
me know what you want, and I'll remind you consistently.
Well, the next thing I see that's about to come out that I want is this Boy Rock Infinity Wave, but that's coming out
Friday,
on this Friday.
3 p.m.
I'm prepared
yeah.
for it. I'm prepared. See, I won't be caught slipping again. Shout out bars over BS.
Yes,
Still taking. I make my weekly tithe to them. It seems they constantly putting out something that I need to have.
but
So,
we need it,
but yeah,
right?
I need it. What
We
am I gonna do? I
actually
need
need
it.
it, right?
I need it. Yeah. So
Like, fuck, why not
I
just
mean,
buy
what am I?
everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I gotta do it. I gotta do what I gotta do. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I can't wait to hear that Infinity Wave, that Boy Rock joint. It's gonna be crazy.
Dope artist, dope artist.
Yeah.
Malenko,
Yes.
we're gonna give a rating. We're gonna
Oh
give us
boy,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
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 Malenko,
Go
do you
ahead.
want me to go first? Because I know you the way you are with ratings.
Go ahead. Go ahead first.
So rating on the album, I'm going with a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I have the
Right.
same note. I have the same note. It's something I'm gonna bump throughout the year. That's for sure. That's for
Okay.
sure. Um, just the quality of beats,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, it's something that's enjoyable to listen. Like from the beginning till the very end, there's something that hooks you in the whole
All
time.
right.
And I mean, the quality of the beats and your quality of rhyming on it is something that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. There's some beats, there's some really tough. I talked about it, but that there's some beats in here that I'm like, oh, how these gonna rhyme on this? And you
Hmm.
blew it out the park, man. So yeah, knock it
Appreciate
out
it.
the park, really good. And I love the skits,
Yep.
the little. And
Yeah.
it's not like some of these albums lately. I've been hearing skits. They're so long. All those vocals.
Nah.
How do you call like the snippets, like the vocal
Yeah.
snippets? They take too long in between
Yeah.
songs sometimes. And these are perfectly together,
Appreciate
and
it.
they tell the story uh from one song to another. The transitions are really good on this whole album.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I to me, I'll just go with your presence on these style of beats, and your rhyming is different too on here. And I think
Appreciate it.
you have, and I like using this word, you have that cheat code because of being in Chicago, being in Atlanta, learning all these different genres of hip hop and being able to be flexible with these genres of hip hop.
Mhm.
It's like being a complete MC, right?
Appreciate it.
You're an MC's, and you're able to showcase that on this project. And the great thing about this is people could listen to all your projects and get something different. But when they get to this
Yeah.
project, it's like, whoa, hold on a second. He really switched it up on us. Like he really went in that route. And that's because you love hip hop. And that's because you're a
Sure.
student of the game of hip hop. And I appreciate that of you as an artist.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not done yet, man. Like Lukey loves to say, man, we don't have any excuse, man. Our knees don't hurt, our back don't hurt. If you want to keep rhyming, if you want to keep on striving to be dope, you can do it. And I think, I didn't get in it to quit, man. I didn't start MCing just to be like, oh yeah, I was a dope MC one day, or I used to be okay. What I mean? I just that's not in my mind, man. You know what I mean? Like I just want to, like I said, I'm not at my final form yet. I feel like I'm just gonna keep on getting better until, like I just if I put out a dud or something and nobody wants to fuck with me or something like that, if I do something crazy, you know and I'm forced to walk away. I guess that's it. But I mean, I still got the itch, man. Like what I mean? Like I said, I got two joints I'm getting ready to put out this year still. The year ain't over, man. I got the itch still, man. I wanna, I wanna make you guys proud, man. I want people to be like, oh yeah, this guy, he didn't let us down.
No, and we
Primo
hear it.
Jab's coming with some stuff.
Yeah, we hear it. We hear it on the sound. I don't see you pulling that dud out and no.
Trying not to.
No, for sure not. The quality is there. So I'm not stressed for that, man. And are we gonna be there as soon as you drop those projects? We're gonna
Yeah.
be there. We're gonna review it for sure.
Pressing play as long as you release physicals for me.
I got you.
I just need you to release those physicals so I can have a collection of your music. I think it's important for me as a fan of your music. I want to be able to have everything that you put out. I think it's important, right? Yes, I collect the music, but it's very important for me to have it where I
Yeah.
could go pick it up and touch it and be like, oh shit, this Primo Jab album, fucking dope album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I
and
got
yeah,
you.
and yeah, man, just keep putting out great bodies of work, like like you're already doing. And you mentioned Lukey. Can you,
Yeah.
you have to answer the $1 million question. I have a couple of
All
million
right.
dollar questions before we get up out of here.
I'm ready.
How you're the only person that I've ever seen control Lukey. How do you do it?
You can't, number one, you have to acknowledge and you have to understand the one truth, which is you cannot control Luki. You can't contain him. You know what I mean? You can only hope to guide the craziness. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't, you know what I mean? It's like Luki's a force of nature, man. You can't control. I don't control Luki.
Yeah.
I just try to direct Luki as best as possible. It's like standing in front of a flood and
Yeah.
and and putting down blockers, like 20 feet out and hoping
Yeah.
that they hold. That's all you try to do. So,
Brilliant
I
mind, though.
just love talking shit with Lukey. Hey, yo, Lukey is I
Brilliant
was
mind.
talking about Lukey is people be like, "Oh man, Lukey's crazy." But if you sit there and listen to what Lukey talking about, you be like, "Man, no, Lukey,
Well, listen to his
Lukey,
music
Lukey
too,
is
right?
yeah, he is
Yeah.
he is a deep thinker, man. He is a
Yeah.
definitely he thinks of things from a very uh thorough approach, man.
Hmm.
And it's refreshing. Like, oh, think of all those shout out Big Ghost, shout out all those interludes that he's
Yeah.
provided us with on those Big Ghost albums. I mean, the shit Lukey says, the analogies that he uses, man, you're like, holy shit, like, yeah, this motherfucker
It
spit,
make
man.
it makes sense.
It makes sense. It
And
makes a lot of sense.
look at the artist form of Luki. Like look
Yeah,
at Mr. Irrelevant on that verse he
yeah,
gave you. Like
yeah,
go back and just listen to what he's saying and
yeah,
how it makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Lukey, people don't give Lukey his flowers enough as far as his rapping. He spits a lot of ill shit. He
yeah,
says a lot of things, and I think that it's just the delivery that he has. If you're not, you got to listen with your head kind of crooked to
Hmm.
to kind of, what I mean,
Yeah.
to
yeah.
to decipher what you're hearing. But then once you and this is what I think is the mark of any dope MCs out here. Is like at first when you hear people, yeah, they just sound like they just talking, whatever the case is. But once you tilt your head the right way, or once you hear that formula unlocked, you'll never be able to miss them going crazy again. And then you look back at them and you're like, oh shit, that's what he was doing here.
Hmm.
That now I've deciphered the formula. I understand exactly what I'm hearing. Lukey's an MC like that. SD Knack, an MC like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You
Yeah.
can't get into him the first time you listen. You got to
Yeah.
build that, right? I
You got to
love that
build
about
up.
artists. You don't want to get into them right away. You want to discover them and what they're able to bring in their project. I'll be the first person to say that it took me 2 3 years to get into Estee Knack and love him the
Oh
way I
yeah.
do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unorthodox
Yeah.
style, kind of like yourself, right? So
Hmm.
Yo, I mean, he's another dude that again has devoted his life to this rhyming, man, to being an ill MC, to trying to continually to elevate his style, man. He's continually gaining experience points, man. Like he's a rapper's rapper. He's an MC's MC, man. He's
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. He's serious. He
Yeah,
absolutely.
really
man.
is.
I love SD Knack rap style, Joe. I mean, I'm a huge fan of SD Knack, man.
Yeah.
When we have people on the pod their first time, we do a quick top 5 in 5 seconds.
Mm,
I want to do it with you.
okay. We
Uh,
stretch. Here we go.
your top 5 most influential albums.
Oof, and that's a tough one.
Uh, Ice Cube, Death Certificate. Red Man, There Is a Dark Side. Twister, Adrenaline Rush.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Um, Most influential, I guess. Yeah. probably the infamous and Nas-Illmatic.
There you go.
Your top 5 most influential artists.
Ice Cube, Redman, Slick Rick, Ghostface Killer. Huh.
It gets tough.
It always gets tough
It's
around the
always
fives.
yeah,
Number
yeah.
5 is always the hard one. Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Nice.
Yeah, I'll say Jay-Z.
Being a fan of pop culture, movies, I want to know your top 5 favorite
Ooh,
movies all time.
The Godfather Part 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Um, House Party,
Oh wow.
the original one, not this one that came out. I don't know anything about that. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
Nice.
Um, let's see, that's 3. Aliens.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, definitely
Aliens
Aliens.
is good.
Fucking love that
There's a
movie.
new reboot, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I heard it's halfway decent.
Yeah,
We'll see about
yeah,
it.
it doesn't look that bad. People say it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard good things about it, so I'm not gonna, hate on it too tough. We'll see. I gotta see it. Oh, now here we are at the coveted number 5 spot. Huh.
It's tough.
Hmm.
Movies are tough.
Movies are so tough, man.
I can't name you 5.
Yeah, I mean that's so hard. The 5th spot. I'm trying to think of like a movie that I just can't not watch.
Man,
Stand by Me?
good call. I
Stand By
like
Me.
that.
Stand by Me? I
I
feel
like
like,
that.
yeah, Stand by Me. That's
Pop
because,
culture.
yeah, man, it's one of those, it's a coming of age type movie. That adventure that they go on. I mean, that was I think the dream of all kids growing up was to
Yeah.
go on an adventure, right? Just to disappear and do that. So yeah, man, Stand by Me. I love
Stand By
Stand
Me.
by Me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Last one.
Honorable mention,
Oh,
The Lost Boys. Honorable mention,
yes.
Lost
The
Boys.
Lost
I
There
Boys.
you
actually
go.
Yeah.
watched it a couple of
Love The
months ago,
Lost
back
Boys.
in November, and it was just brilliant.
It's still
Brilliant.
good. It's
Yeah.
still good. It's never gonna play out.
The last one, Malenko is gonna love this one. Your top
Ooh.
5 favorite Chicago Bears players.
Oh man, my top 5 Chicago Bears players. Um, all time, Devin Hester,
Yes.
Nice.
Urlacher,
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
um,
Don't say Rex Grossman, please.
no, no, you ain't getting no. I'm a real Chicago fan. I mean, I respect Rex for getting us to the Super Bowl though.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna take that away from him. Um,
It's a tough
Brandon
one.
Marshall.
Yes. Yeah, why
I'll
not?
take Brandon
He
Marshall.
was great.
Yeah, I was a fan of him being on the Bears.
Who was
Um,
throwing to him? It was Cutler, right?
Cutler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Definitely not Cutler though. I
No,
hate I hate Jay Cutler.
that's.
Hate him a
I was
lot.
about to say Cutler is not on that top 5. That's for sure.
Singletary.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess you got to say Walter Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Just
Walter Payton.
because. Um, but yeah, I guess Walter Payton. I was gonna
Yeah.
say Cole Kmet. I like Cole Kmet
Oh,
Yeah.
right
Cole
now.
is sick. I
I'm
love
gonna
Cole
give. I'm
Kmet.
gonna say Cole Kmet. I like
Yeah,
Cole
why not?
Kmet.
Why
Yeah,
not?
put some new blood on the list. I like Cole Kmet. I think he's definitely oh no, who was Cohen? Cohen, when we
Cohen.
had Cohen as running back,
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked him. He was cool too.
He
Yeah.
did
So
well.
yeah, there you go. That's six,
There
six-ish.
you go.
A tie at the end. I had to put those contemporary names in.
Are we
Sorry,
going?
Dick Buckus.
Are we going plus 500 this year or no?
Yeah, I
We're
think I
playing
think
500. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna make it to the first round of the playoffs at least.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Absolutely. Yep.
Really? Wow.
We might get eliminated, but oh yeah. No, man. The Ben Johnson era, Caleb, I'm a fan of Caleb too.
I
Yeah,
love
shout out
Caleb.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I
Put him
love
on that
Caleb,
list.
man.
I'm not. I'm not giving him back. I like Justin Fields too. To be honest with you, I
Yeah.
didn't think we needed to get rid of him,
No,
No.
but
absolutely not.
I'm
He needed
cool. I'm
protection.
cool.
You
Yeah,
gotta
that's our
protect your.
main problem.
You gotta protect your fucking quarterbacks. In the NFL, it doesn't matter who
Yep.
you are. Just look at what happened to Patrick Mahomes. They didn't
Yeah.
protect him. They couldn't protect him,
Yep.
and he
Yep.
lost.
That's
what
why he
happens.
lost. That's why he lost.
Yeah, that
Absolutely
O-line
right.
is horrendous. That
So,
Chicago Bears
in-
O-line is horrendous.
terrible.
Invest.
It's
You
terrible.
gotta invest. Primo, we're gonna get up out of here. I just want to say I really, really appreciate you. All right.
Appreciate y'all having me out here, man. Thanks a lot,
you, man.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
It's
fellas.
very
Thanks for
important.
letting me come in and talk shit with y'all and hang out, man.
Yeah, it's important to have you on. Just everything you've contributed to hip hop as a whole with the pod,
Appreciate it, man.
which you giving these artists.
It's for the
a lane,
people, man.
right?
It's for the people, man. I'm just trying to do my duty, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Giving the people a lane, giving the artists a lane for them to express themselves, promote themselves, have conversations. And I think doing it the same for you as the artist that you are is very important as well. And I want all the artists that you had on the Abyss to come and listen to this and know more about you as the MC and shine light as you as the MC.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, because I try not to I don't do the shameless self-promotion. That's one thing
No.
I'm not big on. That's not what the Abyss platform is about, man. Just you touched on it, man. I mean, it's all about us like giving back to the people. Shout out Lukey, shout out Carl.
Absolutely. Amazing.
We just want to like you said, we want to be like, hey, you need to be listening to this.
Yeah.
You're missing out on this. You don't know about this. You're missing out. You need to listen to this. So that's just us doing our job, man. Trying to be good people out here, man.
And you guys you're the three-headed monster. You guys do a phenomenal job. You've gotten me into artists. You've gotten me and Malenko into artists.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
You know
that's
what I mean?
we're supposed to do. Yeah,
And-
that's what we're supposed to do.
And me and Malenko's job is to have people like yourself on where we could, showcase you in a different light and
Appreciate
you
it,
put
man.
out great music, man. So
Thank
let's
you. Appreciate
focus on this new album. How Do Sound Smell, you and Uncle Fester. Thank you for picking a Canadian producer. We
man.
appreciate that.
Thanks, Uncle Fester, for recruiting me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll have you back in the future. I can't wait to
for
see
sure.
what you have. I
All right.
cannot wait to see what you have this year. I'm excited.
It's gonna be all right. I think it's gonna be all right.
Let's
I think
go.
we're gonna be okay this year. 2025. Yeah, I think we're gonna, knock on wood. It's gonna be okay.
Amazing.
Good.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you greatly. Please, if you haven't checked out the Abyss podcast, I'm sure you did. They are phenomenal. Check them out. Give them a like, a following. They do amazing work for the hip hop culture. Thank you so much, Primo. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so.
Yeah, please. What are you doing? You're like an hour 20 in the video and you still haven't liked it. What's wrong with you, dog?
Push the button.
Press
Right.
the button, bro.
We got 2 words for you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.
Like and subscribe, man. Yeah, peace.
Thank you, guys.